Like this beat. Okay, girl. Y'all ready? Let's get it together. This is our time. Yes! All right now. Yes!
The love and lips show, the true, the real, the tell you how you feel.
All right.
The love and lips show, the true, the real, the tell you how you
Okay.
feel.
Come to me for advice about your family and friends, to your husband and your wife. I can tell you about mine and what's been applied. So stay tuned and buckle in for the ride. My past experience are for your ears to hear. I'll tell you tales from my past year. May do a review on some beauty products. You can catch me on the stream when the grease is popping.
The love and lips show, the true, the real, the tell you how you feel.
Okay.
The love and lips show, the true, the real, the tell you how
Here
you
we
feel.
go. When the road is bumpy and everything is shaky, you gotta live and love and show it on the daily. You do your thing and I'll do mine. No judgment here, there's only love on my mind. It's not always right, some things are not easy. We can toss and turn until we make it easy. Keep a smile on your face and encourage one another. We only live one life, so we gotta love each other.
The love and lips show, the true, the real, the tell you how you feel.
Oh yeah.
The love and lips show, the true, the real, the tell you how you feel.
The lesson we learn won't stop or block us. We're all in the past, so let's get to walking. Live and love each day as your last. It's funny how time can flash. This is your life, so you better live it. If you really want something, work hard and get it. Join me on my journey and watch the show. We'll do it one more time, but by now you should know.
The love and lips show, the true, the real, the tell you how you feel.
Yeah.
The love and lips show, the true, the real, the tell you how you feel.
Okay, okay.
The love and lips show, the true, the real, the tell you how you feel.
That's right, girl.
The love and lips show, the true, the real, the tell you how you feel.
We out.
Yo, L&L. L&L. Woo, woo, woo. L&L show. It's hot, 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 taste it hot. I'm ready. L&L. Let's go. L&L show. Motivation speakers. Positive affirmations, tune in every week. We need a Monday family meeting. Always cheating. Relationship advice on Wednesday so you don't go creeping. Thursday game time, come in and unwind. Friday night shout out time, creators grind and shine. Pop up at the pop up, shop up at the shop up. Get your bomb.com seasons for yo. L&L. L&L. Woo, woo, woo. L&L show. It's hot, 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 taste it hot. I'm ready. L&L. Let's go. L&L show. Motivation speakers. Positive affirmations, tune in every week. We need a Monday family meeting. Always cheating. Relationship advice on Wednesday so you don't go creeping. Thursday game time, come in and unwind. Friday night shout out time, creators grind and shine. Pop up at the pop up, shop up at the shop up. Get your bomb.com seasons for your potluck. Tropical morning for your royalty. Love and live empire, bringing all the heat. It's time to turn up. It's time to turn up. You wanna taste that heat? Try to taste the heat. Hot sauce, that sweet heat is banging like this beat. Chocolate burning, love, mild watermelon. Dynamite's the truth. Have you
Favorite nephew, Lenora.
She know it's the truth. Chris. Everybody love Chris. Love it,
It's the love and live show. It's the love and live show.
love and live.
It's the love and live
We be laughing, having fun.
Get up and stay. Love and live. Get up and stay. Love and live.
Love and live. Each day, as if it was your last.
All right,
Hey,
welcome in.
everybody.
How's everybody
How you
doing? What's going on? It's the
doing?
Love and Live
Woo, woo.
show. Here on Wednesday,
Yes.
you already know what goes on. We do relationship advice.
And I know you are ready for this wonderful relationship advice because we got some good questions today.
Or do we have some good questions?
I think we have some good questions today.
All right, we got some good questions.
I mean, I think that's just how we roll over
I
here
guess
with relationship
that's
advice.
kind of the word on the street that we have some good questions going on for you guys today.
And then if you guys have some good questions, please put it down in the link.
In the link?
Okay, in the comments.
Yeah. Put it in the comments. Yeah.
I mean, like literally, let's put it down in the comments. Let's get going.
Mm-hmm.
Queen Lenore got her little clip today on. It's on and popping. So let's get ready to rumble.
All right.
Are y'all ready?
We're ready.
Okay, let's go.
Starting from the top, we got to go ahead and welcome in
Sweetie. Welcome in,
Sweetie.
Sweetie. How are you? Your nephew's doing good. He's right here. Woo woo.
Sweetie says hi. All right, we got
House
House
of
of X
Entertainment.
Entertainment.
We stay entertaining. Hey, we stay entertaining.
We stay entertaining. House of
Stay
X.
entertaining.
Hey, they turn it up.
Hey,
Turn it up.
Hey.
You know what they say? They say, hey, you in the pool.
Oh, that's not
Talking
me.
to Queen Lenore. All right.
No, we already got an agreement. I'm not in the
When
pool.
you hear ye, what do you think?
I think of my girl,
Sleazy.
Sleazy.
Sleazy in here. What's good,
In the
Sleazy?
building with much love. Love you.
Sleazy saying
sis,
love and
you.
live. Throwing up the
Yes.
piece to the chat.
Woo, woo, woo.
All right, yeah, we also got to welcome in
Bonnie Jill.
Bonnie Jill's in here saying, hey, Queen Lenore, Eli, and everyone. What's going on,
How
Bonnie?
you doing? How you doing, sis?
All
How
right,
are you doing today, sis?
Sweetie let us know. She said, I ain't going to the zoo because
Okay.
it's raining.
Well, it be raining out there.
All right, we got to welcome
blue
in
carpet. Let's
Mr.
get it.
Blue
Okay,
Carpet.
hold on.
Mr. Blue Carpet.
Yeah.
We got to go ahead and welcome in
Prince
Daniel.
Daniel.
Prince Daniel's
is
in here.
the building.
Let's get it rocking for Prince Daniel.
Yeah.
He said, hey, beautiful queen.
Hey.
And Elia, my ninja. What's
Woo,
good,
woo.
Prince Daniel?
Yeah.
How you doing? We're going to go ahead and welcome in somebody. We love to get well with her.
Yes.
All right? We love to get fit. We love to
Yes,
get
I
that
love
nice
you, sis.
mental
Yes.
mind right. Physical and mind. You know, we
Yes.
get well because we have
Wellness with Frugal Mama.
She says hello.
Hi, sis.
How you doing, Frugal Mama? What's
I hope
going
you're
on?
doing good. Great workout. Yes.
All right. Not only do we have wellness with Frugal Mama,
Yes.
we've got people like House of X, Prince Daniel, and
Yeah.
Sweetie in here, but
Yeah.
we also have somebody who's very precious to us.
Yes.
We're gonna take this time and go ahead and welcome in
Precious
Pieces.
Hey.
She says, "Hey
How you
y'all,
doing, Precious? How
what's
you
going
doing?
on?
That's
What's going
my
on?"
girl.
Nicole is on
That's
the
my
roll.
sister.
She's in here. All right, how you doing? Prince Daniel said, "Everything you wear, Queen, you always wear it exceptionally."
Thank you.
Okay. Sweetie said, "Nice yellow shirt." She's
Oh
feeling it.
yes, it's a dress. I'm all summery. It ain't summery outside, but I'm summery.
It
That's
is
not even
summer
a word.
outside. What you mean the
It's
sun
not
is
really
out?
summer. When we had that door open, we was up here feeling like ice cakes.
Oh, okay. We ain't got the. It's 71 degrees.
Okay, so we summer.
Yeah,
I'm looking good for summer.
71 degrees. You know, it's not extra hot, but it's hot enough. You know,
yeah,
go
and
ahead.
it's still early, so never mind. Let's raise that conversation.
But anyway,
going.
stepping in, we got relationship advice here
Yeah.
today. I was hearing some relationship advice that was going to be coming from your husband or something like that. He's supposed to be putting that in the comments. But aside from that, we do have the big one to start the day off for today. All right, we're going to go ahead and just step into the title. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat as we get to this one right here.
Let's get with it.
But
then.
Prince Daniel, you saying, on the summer note, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
I
Okay,
know.
so listen, you doing it. Okay, now you're acting up. All right, so starting with the title.
Yeah.
She doesn't want the baby, but I do. Okay. So this is kind of like a controversial topic discussion. All right. So we have some young parents going on. They fooled around, and it was kind of like just a one night type of thing.
Oh.
But this guy, he found out she was pregnant, and he was like, "I really want this baby. I'm invested. I want I can see me being a father. This is what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna give it my all. And she's saying pretty much she's not interested in that. But he's still saying, okay, I'm gonna give it his all. But now she don't want to have the baby at all. But he still wants to have the baby. So what do we do in a situation like this?
Well, what you could do, you could take her to court.
Boom. So take it to court. That's okay. So
because men now have rights to be able to say, I want the baby and I can take care of the baby. And then the women now don't have to have nothing to do with the baby. But I know women will go, well, it's my body. I'm like,
that's usually the conversation.
That's the conversation. And as I am a woman, I feel like I kind of agree that. But at the same time, I also agree that men should have rights too, because it is their stuff that got you pregnant in the first place. You couldn't have got pregnant by yourself without going through the man or going to the clinic to get somebody to artificially inseminate you. So I really do believe men should have some kind of rights.
Some kind of say.
Maybe
not the full, but
my thing is, you might have to carry the baby, but he could actually raise the baby and take care of the baby without you. And you can sign over your parental rights and don't have nothing to do with the baby if you want to. I mean, it ain't something most people want to do, carry the baby for 10 months.
I think that's kind of the problem.
So that's where the problem is, because that might be slowing me down from what I'm trying to do. Carrying the baby, I'm not even going to be dealing with it.
I mean, him being on board, he's fully on board. He's showing that, and she is aware of that. But she don't want to harbor the baby. She's just not trying to go through full term with that.
But does the man really want to take care of the baby? Because what happens is a man will say, I want the baby, thinking the woman is going to be invested into that. And then the woman's like, I'm not invested. And then they like, oh, I'm stuck with this baby and I got to do everything by myself. Yeah. Sometimes it's that curveball right there that messes up. So, I tell men before you go doing that, make sure it's something you want to actually do by yourself without the mama involved. Ever. Okay. I mean, not meaning that the mama might not change her mind and want to be involved.
Yeah, because you never know what can happen.
But just in case that woman doesn't, are you ready to take on the responsibility,
the full weight of the child,
taking care of that child by yourself?
Yeah. Well, listen, we got to welcome in somebody. We're taking a moment to open this file. We're gonna go ahead and welcome in the Bud Files. We have the Bud Files in here. How you guys doing over there? Now, Bonnie just saying, before having sex with anyone is where it starts. You should be having that conversation.
Well, sex is, when you have sex, you do have a big percentage to get somebody pregnant. I don't care if you use condom or any other contraceptives. You do have a chance of getting pregnant. So those are things that people should think about. Don't just think you can have sex all willy-nilly and no consequences to these actions will come upon you, because they will come to you and it not be good.
And you feel like that is... should be something that's taken in account with
people
that
don't take it in account, and I think that's where they get all these problems where like one person wants to have a baby and the other person don't. But like the only reason I'm on the men's side with that, because say the woman wanted the baby and the man didn't. Yeah. The woman get to still have the baby.
Yeah, the woman. Oh, yeah.
And the man be like, no, I don't want to. Yeah, and then he still got to pay child support, do this.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff.
It wouldn't be a conversation.
Yeah, and so I feel like the men should have that same right as well. I'm just looking at a lot of men are now stepping up into the plate of doing what they need to do, but there's a lot of women that when they say they don't want a baby, they don't want a baby, and they're not doing anything to participate in taking care of or raising that child. So
Well, I guess with that being said, though, what is like your?
I told the man take her to court. They'll do quick court hearings before she can do that, and they will cease and dismiss any abortions or anything. So you go to court with that first. Yes.
Okay. All right. So you feel like that's just a way to go. Settle it legally. Don't be too irrational. Don't be doing too much foolishness. Just settle it in court. Yeah. All right.
Prince Daniel said, "Where do you come up with these topics?" Wait, that's him.
Yeah, I came up with this topic.
I'm here for the ride.
All right, so that was the first one. It's just something to think about. A lot of people, they fall into that, and I think a lot of the conversation nowadays is, it's saying that it is a woman's body, and I feel like that should be respected as well. But at the same time, like you said, if the woman was having the baby, then she has full control. the man pretty much would have no say. He still has to participate and take care of that child regardless. Well, don't have to, but he got to pay child support or something. There's things in place for supporting of the child. But on the other hand, then the man wants the baby. You don't really have that because it's not in his body. It's not within his full control. So I think it's just a good conversation to get a woman's perspective on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not speaking for all women because most women is gonna say it's a woman's body.
Yeah.
But I also say, these are things you think about before having sex. These are things that you really need to be having a conversation with. Stop just thinking you can do this and things like pregnancy don't come up, and stop using abortion as a form of birth control because it's not. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a form of birth control. So I just think it's one of those topics that, we wanted to be fair. Let's be fair. If we don't want to be fair, it's not. But, there's a lot of women always saying, I could do what a man could do. But then when it comes down to a man saying, well, I want the baby. If you don't want it, we don't do that. So I think that's where the problem is with that. But that was a really good topic. And I wish if you guys have anything, any opinions, please write it down in the comments so we can talk about it because right now, shoot, that was the conversation.
We got to welcome in somebody. She's saying hello. She's stepping into the case. We got to go ahead and welcome in
Stace.
What's going on,
How
Stace?
you doing, Stace? How's everything going?
She's saying hello to us. Stace, how do you feel about the title right now? This young man, he wants to see it through with this baby. He had a one night type of fling kind of thing. And now he ends up in a situation. He wants the baby, but she doesn't want the baby. How do you feel about that, Stace? But yeah, with that being said, definitely, I think the conversation usually, I guess, minorities and all that are allowed, but I don't think that in this situation it's a minority. I think it's a majority of women will definitely play into the woman should have control because it's her body. But
and it is her body. That's the thing.
But I think, there is something to be said for both sides of things. If you guys are going ahead and getting into the act of things, the man should have some kind of
it's just
bit in the conversation.
Like I said, it's one of those topics I can see there could be some issues and
but I can also understand because he ain't giving birth though.
He's not.
Yeah, that's the big part is the whole birth and all the
not
complications
just the birth,
and the
10 months.
Yeah, risking your life and all that. Everything is on the line during that full cycle.
I agree with that 100%. I'm not taking a form because I'm saying it's on the side, but I do believe it should be a well-discussed conversation.
Yeah, but between those two before you even get into the mix.
You just don't tell. Don't be saying I'm pregnant and I don't want a baby, so I don't want to keep it, and that's it. Like then there was no reason to let him know if you were going to do whatever you want anyway.
How you feel if it was never communicated?
Then it was never communicated. You don't know what you was missing anyway. Especially it's a one night stand, so there's no obligation. There's
nothing. Okay.
But I feel the moment you open your mouth to say it, then you open your mouth to you got to now have a conversation, and now you got to then look at this person as that their opinion does count.
Okay.
But you didn't have to tell them if it was a one night stand.
So how do you feel about that in general, all different terms of things? Like, what about in a marriage that happens, or even just a boyfriend girlfriend type of thing?
That's like I said.
Wrong, or how do you feel about that?
Okay, one, literally, you gotta know this. I mean, this cannot be something that's brand new. You gotta know if you're having sex. There's a possibility of pregnancy. Yeah. You just gotta know that. And for you to have in your mind that there's not a possibility of having a pregnancy is beyond my acknowledgement. If you don't want to have a kid, then you need to really be doing some safe sex methods. Make sure you have like the shot, the condom, the female condom. I mean, really, really do your due diligence of this to prevent having pregnancy. But I still gonna say the same thing. To bring up the conversation is there. You gotta discuss it.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get into some folks into the chat. Stace again. She said that's tough because ultimately, I think it's up to the woman since she has to carry the baby.
And I
Right.
kind of agree with that too. But I
At the,
still
yeah, at the
feel
same
bad for the
time,
men because they don't have a say. But then that's what I'm saying. The woman shouldn't have never told the man in the beginning.
we're gonna go ahead and welcome in
Micro Farmer.
Micro Farmer, and he said, "Wow."
I know.
Said, "Back it up, fella." And Prince Daddy came through saying, "Yeah, that is a big question. He wants the baby, but she doesn't. But what's the point in sleeping with the man if you don't want it? Next time, don't sleep with him, or next time, think before you act."
I agree. And like I said, it's a one night stand. So my thing is literally purposely. I just don't understand why the woman told the man that she was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was the purpose? If you didn't want, if I didn't want the baby and I got pregnant from a one night stand and I didn't want the child, I'm not telling the one night stand that I'm pregnant because I don't want the child. So you will never know that there was a child.
Let's put it in these terms then. Let's slightly change the variable. Now, if she says this, right, she let him know just to be aware that has baby. But then while she's still in that window of opportunity, now she doesn't want to have the baby. And now we're at this conversation. What do you feel?
I still think men should have some kind of voice in it, regardless. I understand it's a woman's body completely. I really do. I really do. I get that, and I'm not saying that because I'm a woman, so I understand that purpose. But I feel like we really shun men a lot in this situation, and then wonder why, like, men don't feel like they have any rights or say when it comes to the child. And men do have rights, and nobody ever acknowledges their rights. And that's where I say where the man could just literally go to court and have her stop from getting an abortion and do that.
Well, Bonnie said, maybe I'm wrong, but I think some women get pregnant young, and the guy is young and not strong enough to stand and let her know, I want this baby and I will take care of him or her. If you're ready, security of knowing that it's a two-person job without the selfishness or control. She said, I don't know.
and that is a great topic because literally a man can say, I want the baby, and then the woman keeps the baby, and then he's nowhere there. He ain't helping financially. He ain't coming to see the child. And we have so many examples of that.
Yeah.
Than we do good fathers that's actually taking care and raising their kids.
Exactly.
That I see why the women be like, no, I don't want to. I get it. Like, I'm not, I get the understanding of that, but I feel like there are some men that do come in and really do a good job. You see a couple
examples sprinkled in the mix.
But no, there's more men now that's taking care of the kids than it is the women. Yeah. Now there's way more deadbeat women out there with the.
I wouldn't say way more, but definitely.
No, there's way more. No, I'm not saying way more than men. I'm saying there's way more women who are deadbeat mothers than they used to be back in the day.
It's increasing,
and they're gladly, like, they drop off the kids. Like, here you go. There's this one guy I know. Both his baby mama dropped off the kids too, and he was raising both of them. His butt was extra old, So the women were young, and they were like, "Well, I'm done. Here you go, and you can have the baby." So there is a lot more of those cases, but you don't hear about those men doing that. So you just go right to old school, and sometimes you can't look at what happened in the past because nowadays these mamas ain't doing good raising their kids.
Well, Stacey said, I would be wondering if you try to get her pregnant on purpose.
That goes on both sides because
honestly,
just as much woman's thing to make sure she's protected as it is a man. Women, we can buy the men condoms and make sure they ain't got no holes or issues in those condoms. I mean, literally, we can do our part. It ain't just on the man. And then again, it's a one night stand. So I mean, unless he's just trying to impregnate everybody, literally, it's a one night stand. So
Bonnie said, I would not like to believe that people choose that option without feeling no hope.
Yeah.
Micro Farmer said, bro, it happened so I don't have any messages and Mona to have a baby. All right. Stacey said, true, I wouldn't tell.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have said nothing. I mean, if it was a one night stand, he wouldn't have never known.
Prince Danny saying these things don't just happen overnight.
I mean, she was keeping in contact, and she's like, "Hey, I think she wanted to see what he was gonna say, and was shocked that he said he would want the baby. because it was a one night stand, and she probably was just shocked, like, "Oh my God, you really do want this baby? I don't want no baby. I don't want no baby." And now it came to bite her in the butt.
Well, Bonnie's saying, if a man is strong enough to stand, then yes, all power to him.
Exactly,
All right.
I agree.
And Bonnie's saying nothing selfish or control, but yes, both sides in that. I vote no sex till marriage. That's what she's feeling.
I agree. I agree. There's a lot.
Yeah, I definitely could see that, but then you have to realize the reality. A lot of people ain't doing that. So then,
just because a lot of people ain't doing it doesn't mean it shouldn't be spoke about.
Yeah.
Like I had a friend that was telling me, I can't prevent my child from having sex, so I'll take it to the clinic to get birth control. And I'm like, there's this thing where you really could talk and have a conversation and let them know. Like, what stopped me from wanting to have sex when I was younger? I mean, I still had sex before marriage, but what made me more cautious and then just run up and be loose in the goose about the situation is that my mom and my dad really talked to me about it and explained to me in their perspective about it. And I was like, oh. And then when guys would say some of the things that my dad told me that guys would say, it made me go, oh, well, you ain't getting none of this because you're not playing me and I'm not your practice toy. I wasn't doing it. And just the thing about it is, how many people do you know lost their virginity and still with the person 20 years later, 30 years later? Mm-hmm. So you think about those things. So you might as well, you know what I mean? You can get married. Not saying that marriage is going to stop you from getting divorced.
No, but definitely it's a good thing to kind of hone in and understand that you're really, devoted to this person.
Yeah, and
you went that step.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. But so I feel like that question we got pretty much a lot of different opinions and it takes on that one.
Yeah,
because it is pretty controversial. If she wants the baby, or if he wants the baby but she doesn't, a lot of the conversation now strongly advocates towards the woman being in full control.
Yeah.
And of course, them having a baby is obviously understood. But then, like you said, there is something to say on really both ends of the spectrum.
It is.
Stay said, my mom did that with me. Both my mom and dad talked to me about it. And I was skipping school with my boyfriend and caught plenty of times.
Yeah, and that's the things about it is, like, I just remember because I had those conversations with my mom and I was trying to be like, one day I want to, because it wasn't really the guy that made me want to have sex with him. It was really my friend. Like they
hyped it up.
They did. They hyped it up, and it was kind of like a light peer pressure. You don't know what you missing. Like, this is the best thing than sliced bread. Ooh, so you've been with him that long and you went, ooh, because I had this whole thing where you had to wait 6 months. Like, that was just it, 6 months. And it could go longer, but you had to at least wait 6 months because I wanted to make sure you liked me for me, because my mom would also tell me, look at your friends. Look at all the girls that are having sex. Are they still with the same guy that they started having sex with? Are they now broke up with somebody else and now they're having sex with somebody else? Pretty soon you look like you, a hoe. So I looked at all that. So my eyes was like this, looking at everything. Yeah. And as I was looking at everything, I was like, oh, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that. And I thought, like, the most prettiest girls, like, I'm like, oh my God, they should be like models and stuff like that. To me, they was the ones giving it up the fastest. I was like, y'all should have been the one holding it down. Like, that was just my opinion. And that's where I was. And
there's no conversation with it.
Yeah, and Bonnie just said, I feel for strong, young, single mothers. Yes, if they're really young, strong, single mothers. Because a lot of times, and I have to just throw this out there too, I'm not taking credit from the ones that are really doing their job, but then there's a lot of these single mothers where the grandmothers is taking care of the children, and the child is still doing what they want. And one thing my mom told me, because my mom had me young, and back in her day, it did not look good to be having a baby young. And she said my grandma didn't help her with me at all. So that's when my mom was like, So her next child, me and my sister were like 15, 16, 17, 18 years difference. And she just not having no more kids because she had to do it by herself. Nowadays, you give it to the grandparents, you don't even know that you
a parent anymore.
You know, it's easy. Oh, this is easy. It's like babysitting. This is easy. I'm a bomb mom.
Part-time parent, and they get them, all They be thinking they doing big things, but it really just
It's
more
their
burden
grandparents that's working
on
their
their
behind
parents.
off.
Yeah.
They sweating like, I'm too old for this. I had to tell my kids, I'm not raising y'all's kids. I'm sorry. Y'all got the wrong grandma. I'm just letting you know. This grandma is not raising nobody's. I done raised too many kids my whole life. I am not doing it with my grandchildren. Nope, you guys better step up the plate.
Bonnie just said that's true, and at all times, same for the guys.
Yeah. And I say this a lot. Guys have it easy. So guys more have a choice to take on the responsibility and be
Mm-hmm.
great dads, or they can just not be a good dad, and it still leads up to the mother all the way. And if the mother is a deadbeat like the dad is, it's a worse name for her than it is for the dad. Because if I call a mom a deadbeat mom, it stings harder than it does if I call a guy a deadbeat dad.
Well, yeah, and that's just kind of because how we, assign things. Motherly role is, we always think women are nurturing and
Yeah.
taken care of and all that, but it seemed like there's a shift going on.
There's a shit. The mothers be like,
like
I said I didn't
who
want no
child is
baby.
that?
Yeah. Looking around like it ain't theirs, and the child saying, "Mama." Somebody missing their kids, and everybody looking too.
Bonnie said people play tricks with condoms.
Yeah, they do. That's why I say women can actually go and get condoms and make sure there's no holes and nothing in it to stop anybody from playing tricks with the condoms.
Yeah, and then they have the ones for
and then they can put them
females.
on them. I know when I was in high school, I learned to put condoms on them, and they had a little toy, and you do it, and you pinch here, and you roll it down like this. I mean, we learned all that. I don't think they're teaching any of that. I think they stopped that right along with cursive. Mm-hmm. They don't teach cursive in school. They ain't teaching how to put condoms in. That was in health class. So it's sad. It's really sad.
Prince Daniel said, I got a single reputation for handling bras. All I need is me in a few seconds or more, and it's a wrap. All right. Tell the valet to bring my life.
Oh, Lord, you are
Prince
crazy.
Daniel acting up.
He is acting up for real.
Oh, man.
I thought men would be more like, yeah, we got right. Men like, yeah. I think we know everybody on the program, it's the woman's body.
Bonnie said, I don't think they teach it anymore. I mean, it really depends.
They don't.
It's just the way that you could even talk about the school system is so varying in different areas.
Yeah.
So you never know what exactly the curriculum is going to be taught in that aspect. So, I mean, the best thing to do as a parent is just try your best. And like she said, if you have that one-on-one conversation or just give your perspective on things or tip them off on some things they should look at. And you don't even have to get in all the nitty-gritty details, but even as simply as she's saying, take a look at those people who are doing that. What are they doing? Where is that bringing them? How do they feel? Are they lower self-esteem? Are they, depressed and all that? Since they got in a relationship, that's stuff that you can easily tell your child and not be doing too much or saying too much details if you feel like that's uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because you got to understand our body goes to different things, and they don't know when's the time or when not the time to be, when they ovulate. These things that we're all in health class that we learn, we don't learn these things anymore. And so a lot of the kids don't know. And so they hear these things that the pull-out method helps, and that's part of their birth control. Pull-out method never helps. You don't even have to, and I try to tell this to all my kids, you don't even have to, I'm going to get a little explicit, so if your kids are listening, please remove them from the channel.
Please remove them from the channel.
No, because I'm going to be saying something that's explicit. Okay. My thing is, when a man doesn't even have to enter a woman fully to get her pregnant, because there's this thing called pre-cum. So they don't have to enter in fully to get pregnant. And people don't know this. And they're not teaching it. And the parents are not talking to their kids about it because they don't know what the right age and what not the right age to talk about it. And, kids, once they learn something, they're telling everybody, so then you got to deal with the teacher talking to you. But the schools ain't teaching you. So nobody's teaching the kids the proper thing about safe sex. If you are going to have sex, this is what you should do. Understand that sex is not just about getting diseases. And let me show you the diseases you could get. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about the emotional damage of it. That's why if you look way, 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 way back in our videos, way back in the videos, I sat down and had conversations with my daughter. Like, what questions do you have about anything about sex on conversations? Because it's something that people are talking about. Like, even if you hear your friends talk about it, what are the main common conversations and have that open dialogue? Because I don't think a lot of parents know how to have a proper open dialogue because they don't know when to do it. Like, I never knew, like, what age do they do it? And I had to remember, like, my sister came to me at this age. He's probably even younger now, you know.
Yeah,
So
you factor in so many
yeah,
different things. It's like a science, mathematic equation.
yes,
Because, but I think there's also not too much stuff on parenting. There's no handbook on 1-to-1 on everybody, and everybody's so different, and environments have so much to do with things. So it's like it's hard for you to instantly be like, oh, this is good.
mm-hmm.
Where your kid they might still be thinking about playing games
Yeah,
and playing
they ain't even in
outside.
that level, yeah.
So you bringing that to them, they wasn't even sure what you talking about in general.
Yeah, but like for me, I thought about it as like I learned about it in 8th grade from school.
Mm-hmm.
My mom did try to talk to me about birds and bees, and I was like, yeah, I know, yeah. But my whole full conversation of things I didn't know about was in 8th grade math class. So it wasn't even in sex ed class. It was math class. Teacher left out the thing, and that's when I would learn. And I looked stupid on every question because I answered it stupid, not knowing what we were talking about. And then they're the ones that taught me in those lingos. And I went to my auntie, which I never knew was still a virgin, and she had to explain stuff to me that I didn't know what it was. So it's those things of as parents, we got to really make our kids feel comfortable to talk to us, so we'll know when. But sometimes you just need to start kind of snooping on your kids' conversations and reading their stuff to see if people are talking to them about it. Because some of these kids got siblings, and the siblings already doing it, and that's how the kids find out to do it. And there you go.
Well, stepping in with Bonnie Jill, she's saying these kids need to see a visual of what an STD looks like. Trust me, they will put a condom on. Bonnie,
Did I not show you guys?
Yeah, but Bonnie, I don't know. I don't know about this one. I don't think this really necessarily is a good is a good signifier, because I know a lot of people out here, and I know they know what an STD look like, and they are free. They are flying and catching whatever. They catching them all.
Yeah, because they have this thing where they think it's never going to happen to them. And that's the thing, when you show them about these diseases, which I do believe people should see them, because it gives you visual. She would taught me. If I was single, I'd be like, oh no, because it does show you those things. But now you got to let them. Now you got to get them to understand that you don't have the method of saying it might not happen to you, because it could happen to you. And I would tell them, and I would let people know that there's people all around you that got these diseases that you don't even know. And so you don't know if you can get it or not. You got to understand these diseases can come to you.
Well, we got to welcome somebody in. All right. He's full of himself. We full of him too. We got GJ34. GJ3, how you doing today?
Hey, GJ3.
You said, do you think that little toddlers should be teaching how to put a wrap on something or how to release something in a certain way while they're still toddlers?
I don't believe so. If they're toddlers, that's 3 or 4 years old.
That's highly inappropriate.
I just think that is
highly inappropriate.
Yes, and I want to go another word worse than that, because it's highly inappropriate.
And I think I don't know what people's fascination with that is, and why people tend to find things like that funny, that young children in those situations. But that, I don't know, that's very terrible. We got to go ahead and welcome somebody in. We've got Steve Gilmore. Steve is in here.
Steve Gilmore, how you
He's
doing?
saying, checking in, family. Good to see you. What's good, Steve?
I have to go. I'm still on that one with GJ3.
No, you still?
I am, because it's something I feel like adults should understand, that sometimes we go too far. We have this thing where we want to give an excuse to say, because I'm teaching them at a young age before somebody else teaches. At 3 or 4, no. All you need to teach at 3 or 4 is And is somebody touching you inappropriate? These are your private areas. Has anybody touched you in these areas? That's it. Don't let nobody touch you in private areas. These right here is off limit. Nobody, not your friends, family, nobody touch you in these areas. Is as far as a conversation should go, because those are usually the age too where people are getting molested or whatever else that happens. But that's it. But the talking about how this is how you put on a condom, this is
That's
how you
doing
do
too
that.
much.
You going too far, like really too far if it's a child. Yeah,
Stay
that's all that.
said if the couple were married, I think the conversation would be a little bit more dicey. Well, definitely, but I think that's the whole kind of like conflict of the conversation is they not, and it's just
There's no obligation.
yeah, exactly. There's nothing holding them really to it. So,
Yeah,
but Stacey said we learned it in school right along with STDs.
you got to.
Wellness with Frugal Mama, she's saying it's sad that these conversations have to be had with elementary age children. But if they don't, then they may hear it from the streets.
Then that's why you leave the door very open for your kids to talk to you about sex. So when they hear from their friends at school, they could come to you and talk to you. So don't be mean to the kids or make the kids feel bad for having these conversations with you. Let them be open to have the conversation with you, because they might just heard something. They could have went over to your friend's house and saw the siblings doing something or caught the parent, and they're curious and want to know the answers to these questions. But if you try to make it seem like it's a secret and undercover and all that, it makes the kid really want to do what they're doing.
Yeah, I think it's really honestly there's two extremes. There's people who are saying too much or people who are saying too little, and you kind of want to hit the sweet spot. But it's different for each child. You might tell each child at a different age, or depending on when, like you said, you want to leave the door open. But also some kids they might not feel so open with that conversation. So there's so many different things to really.
But if they don't feel open with a conversation, this is just my opinion. Usually is they're either too scared to talk about it, or shame
so
or
guilt
or something like that. And as I said, be open. Let them know that if you learn anything at school, kids to talk about something, please feel free. If you have questions, I'm here to answer those questions for you. And let that be known that those type of conversations that you see at your friend's house or anything like that. And you can ask, is there anything exciting happened at your friend's house or at school? Did you learn anything that you might need questions with? Or is anybody talking to you about anything? I mean, talk to your kids starting that conversation at a young age to where they're telling you everything at school anyway, from pre-K to all the way up to, so when that conversation comes up, they're already ready to answer the question. Oh, mom's gonna ask me, mom's gonna have. So how was your day at school? Did you learn anything new today? Oh yeah, I did. We learned such and such and such because so and so said such and such, and they will tell you because this is something they grew up telling you from the beginning. But if you wait until they get like 10 years old and you ain't never asked that question, they're looking at you like, well, why are you asking that question? Like, what just happened?
It seems so awkward, yeah.
But if you start that question from pre-K and have them always talking to you about your day, it's easier for that kid to come and tell you about their day.
Well, it's just the communication. Yeah. It has, you have that bridge of communication. Bonnie is agreeing with Frugal Mama with that. GJ3 saying, you will know by paying attention to accordingly how your own individual child develops and who they are around.
Yeah.
And as they may mature, you also get to know, you get more into details accordingly to their situation.
That's true.
All right, Bonnie says you got to discuss it before another kid teaches them wrong. And Wellness said, what about teaching young girls about their menstrual cycles?
I think when they're getting ready to get to that age, and that's usually either 8 or 9 is the youngest that I know that has started. I started mine at 9, so that the youngest that I know is like 8 or 9 that start there, and you just let them know so when it happens, they're not this shocked person. With my daughter, I made a mistake because I was like, oh, because me just joking, but I was like, and when you start yours, I'm leaving because you're going to have this attitude. So when she started that, she was crying. She was like, oh, God, Mom's leaving. And they're like, oh, I was just playing.
Yeah, you build something you didn't
build
even
something
know.
that I didn't even know. So make sure you're really, like, you explain that because they need to know, like, You don't want them to be freaked out when it happens. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this happened and they're freaking out. You don't want, because then they think something's wrong with them, or they
Yeah.
think they did something they
Yeah,
didn't
what's wrong?
do.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think a lot of that stuff comes into that play with those conversations. So, like I said, be very open and honest with your kids, so they can have that communication with you, and start it at pre-K so they can have that. Because and that's just my opinion, because I didn't get to do that. I didn't do that at pre-K with mine, because mine really didn't go to pre-K. So,
Well, GJ3 is simply saying here, see here, I was raised the old school. I checks everything. Who paying them bills at the house too? Okay. All right, GJ3 saying happy Wednesday, everyone. Love and Live show and everybody in the chat. Stay saying, we started having conversations about sex as soon as a girl starts her period. When I was in the 5th grade, a girl started hers and ran off campus because she didn't know what was going on.
Exactly.
The experts were at the school the next week.
Exactly, because nobody's talking to these kids and they need to know. And you can say, oh, I went brushed over it. They need to understand even the full effect of what it is. And so if you don't know what the period is, and you don't know what menstrual is, you need to investigate and know what that information is, so you can explain that, because I think it's a thing that the girls should do. I learned from watching the Cosby Show that it's a celebration that I should be celebrating. So when my daughter had her, we had a party and we celebrated that moment. Whether it was a girls thing, and people bring presents of what they needed when they had theirs, and then invited where you can ask questions, talk about everything, to be open. I even gave her a ring. I went out and bought her a diamond ring, and I did all the stuff, because I did. One thing I don't want you to ever feel like this is horrible in your life. You know what I mean? Because when you get older, you get sick and tired of it. Like, it only takes you 1 to 2, 3 months to get it, and you be like, I'm done with this, I mean, you want to make sure you let them know this is your moment. You are a woman right now. And I know it's hard to say at 9 and 10 that you're this woman, but your body is now a woman. And even though your mind might not be there as a woman, you are a woman right now, and give them that love and that attention. And I appreciate Cosby Show teaching me that, because I was like, that was what, to me, the best moment I had, that I could say that I learned from television, that I was really proud of, getting her cake, having everybody bring her gifts and everything. And it lasted her, like, I think 6 months to a year, I think. I don't know. I got to ask her, but it lasted her a long time to use this. And we all had our issues, our stories, would make our time of the month easier for us. And that was knowledge that she was able to get all that information from more than just her mother, from everybody of different ages. And that's what we need to make sure young women have that bit of information.
Well, Wellness from Fugu Mama, she said, I showed my kids cavities and rotted teeth. They sure started brushing them teeth back. Sometimes providing a visual can be helpful.
And that is so true. And that's a good idea for the teeth brushing. For some reason, when kids are young, it's hard to get them to brush their teeth. So thank you, Wellness for Frugal Mama, because that is a good way to do it.
Wellness for Frugal Mama said exactly. Kids can be exposed to way too much. Mine can barely watch TV, and some commercials, they even be too graphic to me.
Yes. And I totally agree with you on that, Wellness.
I think it's just everything, though. It's kind of taking that angle of being some, provocative in some type of way. And it's so many underlying things that it's kind of like so in front of your face, but it's also like, how does that work for a developing mind? Do they think that this is okay, or think this is something that they should replicate? So it is kind of hard to deal with those situations.
Exactly.
You got something as open as now YouTube. They can, or even just Google. They
TikTok.
Can,
it don't matter.
Like every avenue.
Yes.
They have literally so many different things and so many different influences that can be afflicted at any given time. So I think it's just kind of hard to even do that with a child. We got GJ3 saying, you don't want to be like Malona on Good Times when Penny's friend got pregnant and she was just making her believe that Penny's friend only had the mumps. but in her stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how they used to tell us back in the day,
Mhm.
you know. Well, not my days, but back in my mother's day or my grandparents' day, that's how they used to do it. So as you have grandparents or your mother, they don't know how to have these conversations because
Mhm.
they never had the conversations, you know.
Exactly.
My mom's friend said that I think it was her grandmother. She didn't know how she kept getting pregnant. She was just like, I don't know what is going on, but I'm keep getting pregnant. And the doctor was like, you know, this is how you get pregnant. And she didn't know sex
Mhm.
was the cause of her getting pregnant. And so, and I know as the kids were like, what, you didn't know? You didn't put that together? She said, no,
Yeah.
I didn't put it together. So they didn't really talk about it back then.
Yeah.
But now we're not talking about it or we talking too
Too
much.
much.
And we need to
Inviting too
really
much
get in
in.
that centerpiece where let's just let the kids come to us and talk to us about it. And let's make them feel comfortable to talk to us about anything. Because not only do they need to talk to us about that, they need to talk to us about if somebody's touching them or mishandling them completely wrong as well.
GJ3 saying this is why parents need to be highly involved in their children or
Yes,
teens' life when they're at home as well as when they're at school too.
exactly.
And Wonderful Frugal Mama said, exactly. All right. And Stacey said, oh, wow, Lenore, a party?
Yes, I mean, and it was fun. I
She
mean,
said, I must have not seen that Cosby
oh, it
episode.
was. They did like a celebration, and I forgot how they did it, but it was like a little celebration. I just jazzed mine up to say like my mom had foster kids over there, so my foster sisters came and we all gave my daughter gifts, you know, and what kid wouldn't like gifts anyway? And then it was just like they gave again. I'm being too explicit. I apologize early, but we gave pads to her that was our favorite pads, chocolates, the medicine like a leave. We talked like, if this happens, this is what we did to do it. And then we was even talking about, yeah, I do that too. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. So
It's a woman's
it was
conversation,
a woman's
honestly,
thing,
but
and it
very,
wasn't like
very
no
inviting.
guys were involved. They couldn't be involved, and it was a woman's thing. She had a beautiful cake, and like I said, we just gave her gifts. And my gift was a ring, where this is your ring. This we promise that you're not gonna have sex until marriage. Blase, blase, blase. And stuff like
It made
that.
it very inviting area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it made it fun because that's what I wanted her to do. And whatever questions that my daughter needed answered at that moment, you have all these women that can answer your questions and be honest. And they got my approval to do it. And if I thought it was going too far, I could have easily ended the conversation like, no, too soon for that, But she
Mm-hmm.
had hers at a decent age, so everything was a open, great conversation. And I think every child, every parent who has a girl should do that. And not saying you're a bad parent if you don't. It just really was a beautiful moment.
GJD said, now don't get me wrong. I would try to be understanding, but child and teens, they need to know their lane that they're supposed to be in. Stay in your lane, like Judge Karen said too.
I could say that, but I understand it should not be disrespectful or come at
Mm-hmm.
you any kind of way. But if your child wants to talk to you about sex, be ready to answer it, because if you don't answer it,
Somebody else
her
going
friends
to.
will,
Somebody
and
else
they gonna
going.
give their opinion, and their opinion sounds
Yeah.
good. And I'm gonna tell you, when me and my best friend talked about some of the things kids told us about that was nowhere near true or accurate, you really would like to talk to your kids about this stuff. You would want them to have these conversations with you, because I mean, to this day, there's one question that was told to my friend that you can get electrocuted by douching, and that we laugh about it now, but that freaked my friend out,
Mm-hmm.
And her friend told her that, so that girl was freaked out, told my best friend that. Them two girls was freaked out, and you don't know how many other people got freaked out about this stuff,
Yeah.
because we scared to talk to our parents,
Yeah.
because we do have to stay in that lane. We do, and we don't know when we can come out the lane.
Yeah.
You just got to be like, you can ask me any question, but you got to ask me very respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in your child's position and don't talk to me like you talk to your friends. You're not going to disrespect me. You can't cuss. You can't do it. There's those things you want to make sure you stay in those type of lane. But when it comes to sex, let them be open. Because I've asked in health class, I asked 10 million questions. And the kids in class used to be like, oh my goodness, Lenore is here today. Out of all the classes she skipped, this one she won't. And I asked questions because I really needed answers about things because my mind thought sex was this big sacred thing. So every little stupid question that came out of my mouth in high school came out because I did not know. And everybody used to roll their eyes at me, but I didn't care because I needed to know the answers. And I'm glad that was one class I felt that the teacher made me feel comfortable to ask all
And
the
connect
questions
with,
because
so
the
you
kids didn't, but the teacher did. But I found out later on when we became adults, they were glad I was asking that question because they didn't know either, and they had the same questions. So
Steve said, in this day and time, teach your kids what they need to know and keep them away from things that they don't need to know. Steve had to step in, make sure you doing what you got to do on your end. Bonnie said, I remember in seventh grade, a classmate who was pregnant, a seventh grader. We watched her stomach as it grew, and she stayed in school till birth. I was like, what's going on? This isn't normal.
and that's the thing about it is being that secretive is really hard. Again, because we need answers, and if not, we asking people our age to answer the questions, and they giving us the wrong answers, and then we don't understand why you mad.
You got
later
people who
on
be lying too. They be breaking,
oh yeah,
coming up with this colossal thing.
I've heard all of
it
them
don't
too.
even be like that.
It
You
don't.
making a mountain out of molehill right here.
Yes.
GJ3 saying, not only are things being talked about too much, but they're also being suggested of just so as much in certain things rather than the better things now too. Yeah, a lot of negative things are definitely being pushed, and that's just kind of, I don't know, the modern struggle of being a parent.
And the thing about it is, as a parent, you can't keep your kids from everything. You think you can, yeah, you can make sure they're not watching this at home and this and this and this and that.
But you never know, this stuff slips
at
through the
school.
crack.
And schools, I mean, they're not gonna not let your kids go to recess, and they're not gonna not let your kids go to lunch and keep the kids in lunch and not be able to talk to anybody. That's not gonna happen in school. And then say you even, and like me, I homeschooled and unschooled my kids, so they were still in other activities that they could have been talking to these other kids and having this relationship. And keeping your kids from spending the night over somebody's house, because the kids, my kids spend the night over people's houses that I knew that I trusted as like, okay, this is okay. So if they learn anything, they learn from each other. The kids is up there talking. And you can't say, okay, you're going to have a slumber party, or you're going to have this birthday party. All kids stay 6 feet away from each other, and we're going to have fun because we don't want you to talk. You got to understand, kids are sneaky. They're going to get that conversation in. You just need to make sure the conversation at home is an open conversation, and not saying don't have your kids. Oh well, they're gonna see it at so-and-so's house, so they can do it here. I'm not saying that either. I don't want that to be misconstrued either. No, keep doing what you're doing, how you feel comfortable. I just want all the parents to make sure that kids feel safe to come home and talk to mommy and daddy about anything that they learned.
Stacey said, I think I would have been mortified to have a party. Bonnie said, if it wasn't explained what a period was to me early, I would have thought I was dying and going to bleed to death.
Yeah, and and you don't want your child feeling that way. Just think about it is right now, like if you guys went horseback riding for your first time horseback riding, and then the horse went crazy and you fell off the horse, what is the thing you're going to do? I never want to get on a horse again. That's the whole thing. I'm never going to get on a horse again. Or if you went in a pool and you was drowning, well, I don't want to get in the pool anymore. You have those things stay in your mind. Don't have your kids scared about their menstrual. Like, because then every time they get it, it's a scary moment. You don't want them to have that feeling either. So it is one of those things to do it. And again, like I said, I would have never thought about having a party if it wasn't for the Cosby Show.
And on that note, Wellness for Frugal Mama saying it was beautiful that happened. GJ3 saying kids love hip hop, urban, they love the blues, R&B genres today now too. The influence in those type of songs are suggestive today.
Suggestive.
Though they're not
they
the only
suggestive. They just telling
today too.
Sorry.
Yeah, now, it's not even suggestive. They used to actually be suggestive.
Yeah.
Or a lot of the mainstream songs would be, but nowadays it's just everything is going on, and everybody's repeating it. You got little
And it
kids
is
saying it.
not
They're like, "What are you
suggested.
saying?"
It is very out there. There was this one time, it was probably, I don't know, how old are you, 19?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say probably 10, 12 years ago. My sister, I was getting ready to do a production. We do plays. And I was sitting in the car and she had me listening to all this music. She said, "This is what's going on in the club. These are the songs." It gave me such a headache, and I was so mad that I had to like literally put some gospel music on to clear my head because I had a migraine. I was like, "Oh, I would never want to go to a club. I never want to go to because this music is so degrading towards women, and we have so much degrading towards women as it is just to be in the club with it playing and everybody's singing it all." And I'm like, no, no. Because one thing is, I don't ever want to be looked at, talked about, treated the way those music is talking. I don't want to ever be in that position at all.
Well, Stage said there's a lot of misinformation about tampons too.
Yeah.
Bonnie said, when you're younger, your imagination fills in the blanks.
Yes, it does.
We got to welcome in
Sandra Clark, a.k.a. Boo Bear. How you
said,
doing, sis? How's
"Hey,
everything
sisters
going?
and Strawberry and Bro Panda, how are you doing it on this beautiful Wednesday? And oh my gosh, you guys are touching on topics that we are facing right now with our daughter."
There you go.
All right.
So, Sandra, give us some info so we can talk about it some more. Go ahead.
Stacey said, if you had the question, trust someone else needed to know too.
Mm.
Bonnie said, that's not good always. Steve Gilmore, he said, I heard something about tampons that they were causing cancer or something.
You know, everything causes cancer, y'all. It ain't just tampons. Yeah. Everything causes cancer because they are doing everything quick and easy, and they're not putting they're not being
quantity over quality on
there
everything now. They're cutting every corner. Sandra said we recently had an incident that took place and we had to handle it, but our kids need to feel safe to talk to their parents about their body and their sexual feelings and sexual desires. She says because it's normal for them to have those feelings that they're going to puberty, but we have to be open and not close-minded with our children, or just to our children. Yeah, you got to be open-minded towards your children.
And that's what I'm saying. You don't know, like I said, a lot of times because we're not talking to our kids, they don't know. And if they don't feel comfortable to talk to us, then it's like, who do they got to talk to?
Exactly.
And the person they talk to is their best friends.
And the best friends, who are they influenced by?
Yeah, and my thing is, at this young age, best friends is, I met you 5 seconds ago. We like this, we're glue, we're best friends. And they're not getting the true answers.
Yeah.
And if the kids don't feel comfortable coming to their parents, they're going to believe what is told to them by their friends. And we don't want that. We want you to come to us so then you can go back to your friends and say, blase, 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 blase. Like I was very honest with my kids about a lot of stuff. And you don't understand how many times I was talked to, went to school because my kids don't repeat what I said. And it wasn't had nothing even to do with sex. I remember my son told everybody there was no Santa Claus. And they done brought me up to school, and I'm thinking, like, what did my son do? And they was like, well, he ruined it for all the kids and told the kids that there's no Santa Claus and that he ain't coming down no chimney and that's your parents are buying you gifts. I mean, he went into every word that I said. My son took back to all those kids. Them kids went back to the parents. Like, you lied to me, and there's no Santa Claus.
you ruined so many people.
And the teacher was really expecting me to, do something different, and I was like, I'm sorry that the other parents are very upset about that, but I refuse to lie to my kids. I'm not even gonna lie to them about the Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy. That is me. I'm gonna let them know. And if the parents is upset about that, that's not my concern. Kids talk. That's what it is. I didn't tell my son to come up to school and tell him, but that's what kids do. They talk. And so he had some information he knew, and he wanted to share it, and he shared it. And I'm not going to apologize for my son telling the truth. Thank you.
Stacey said, oh my goodness, the inappropriate suggestions are even too much for me.
Ooh, you ain't never lied.
Sandra said, yes, sis, stays. Things you see on TV, the music that the kids listen to is very subjective. It's sexual. It talks about drugs, sex, alcohol. You know, they talking crazy, call women out their name.
Yeah.
And Stacey said, I'm not homophobic, but the gay suggestions are also way overboard.
Mm-hmm.
Sandra, she said, I didn't feel comfortable about talking about it to us because she felt weird. Well, you might have to talk or counsel her, or maybe I always have made my kids feel comfortable. You know, they can come to me or come to us and talk with us and share what's going on with their body and how they're feeling. She said they listen to adults and listen to very suggestive and encourages that type of behavior. Our daughters got you 14 our daughters I think are 14 and our son is about to be 21. They've gone through puberty and they do our spiritual feelings, but they know what's going on with their body. Stay saying my favorite song used to be don't don't jump my pony, you can't ride. I have a buck wild pony, it'll throw you to the side. I was way old before I found out what he was really talking about.
And that's the thing about it is we don't know what a lot of songs were. And back in the day, you didn't know they were doing innuendos with songs. My first album was Mary Jane. Mm-hmm. And I did not think, and I know my mama definitely did not think it was about weed. And Beth believe my mom was smoking weed back then. She did not believe that was what it was. And I thought he was talking about the Mary Jane Girls, because as he was talking about Mary Jane, there was a group called the Mary Jane Girls. So I thought he was in love with one of the Mary Jane Girls, is what my opinion was. And I was like, but I had no clue he was talking about weed. So there's a lot of stuff you don't know. But now they don't do those suggestions of the supplements, whatever. They don't do that anymore. They're doing like, F this and
that's what I'm saying. So
it's just too much. It is really too much. And like, even like my daughter went just recently to watch the Barbie movie. She said it, my mom's friend was like, it's PG-13. And I was like, I've always thought PG-13 was just bad. I just forgot there's PG and then there's 13.
But there's also PG-13 and then they put the extra exclamation like the language or violence.
So there's
different levels to the PG-13.
But my thing is, why are we making Barbie anything else but a PG movie? Because that's what it is. Mm-hmm. And then their terminology in there is it was explicit. Mm-hmm. And because you got these little kids coming, I know they ain't this big, but you got these little kids coming to go see Barbie. Mm-hmm. And they're talking about the JJs and penises and all that. What are we doing? I mean, and nobody's saying anything. And like, I would have never known if my daughter didn't go, because she was supposed to be taking my mom's friend's granddaughter. Well, Eli and my daughter were supposed to take her granddaughter to go see the movie. And she happened just to go see it and said, no, that is not the movie you would want your grandbaby to see. And I'm like, it's Barbie. Why is Barbie explicit like this? Like, I mean, it might not be as foul as most movies, but for it to be Barbie, it should be nothing but PG. Not no PG-13, not with the exclamation, just plain PG. Period.
Okay, Stacey said most tampons bleach the cotton, which is why there are health questions. But there are natural ones on the market now. Sandra said, nothing sexual happened between the two, but it could have if us as parents or the other parents being proactive, going through the phones and seeing stuff going on before we caught it beforehand.
Yeah.
GJ3 saying you have to explain things to your child accordingly to their age. Teach them, not just tell them, which requires patience too. Definitely. Because you could easily tell and be, you telling only go so far.
Exactly.
And, you think, don't do this.
I know.
And then it's not supposed to be done. Exactly.
Don't be smoking no cigarettes. Well, you lost them when you said it. Because you up there smoking cigarettes. Don't be getting high smoking with marijuana and then you up there with some marijuana.
You can't do that. You
rolling
there doing all that.
Don't get my bong over there. Don't do this. This ain't good for you. Don't be drinking alcohol. I mean, you gotta understand
That's what they see. They see the
they're
environment.
seeing what you're doing. So you telling them not to do it is now irrelevant because you're doing it. So you're making it like, I can't do this. Tell them
It's
like,
such a
go. I
forbidden
can't wait
thing.
to do
Yeah,
it. And tell them like,
exactly.
go. This is gonna be
Then
so
when they
exciting.
go overboard, once they
Yeah.
are old and they get strung out or they're overly doing things, and you look,
You're all
what-
shocked, like, I
what did
can't
I
believe
do?
it.
I did
told my
everything in
child-
my power.
I told my child not to do this,
Yeah.
not to do it, but you didn't show your child not to do
Yeah,
this.
it's the teaching. But GJ3 goes on to say, even with that, it requires patience too, the teaching and telling, but especially when it comes to birds and bees, talk to them too, which is quite good reference for it all today as well, because a bird tends to be more lasting in the relationship, while a bee can be tricky.
See, you know what? I have never
Uh.
really understood the bird and bees, but so birds are more faithful in relationships, and the bees are more, goose and the goose.
Oh,
Like,
man.
I need to know because to this day, I don't know the birds and bees. Understand the birds. I don't even know the story of the birds and bees. I couldn't tell my kids the birds and bees because I don't know nothing about the birds and bees. I didn't know what the birds and bees had to do with sex.
Oh, well, GJ3 said, I hear too that the male bees have a shorter lifespan than the female bees, which means that the males will soon leave the females alone at times too. Now, how many men tend to become to be as a bee to have done left their female partner spouse as alone as they were dead, but yet still living nowadays too? Today too.
Hey, this is deep. I'm learning about the
GJ3
bees.
said children and teens today, they need both their mother and father
Yes,
to
they
be
do.
in their lives, not just one or the other,
Mhm.
in the utmost proper fit and balance to help them in growing and developing life. Sandra goes on to say, big facts, Sizzling Strawberry and Bro Panda. We take the time to actually pay attention to what our kids are listening, watching, and doing. They're like sponges, they mimic stuff.
Yes.
Wellness with Frugal Mama said, exactly. Stay said, I heard the same thing about Barbie. My little cousin isn't allowed to see it now. And GJ3, Wellness with Frugal Mama said, gee, really? John 17. Oh, we got to go ahead and welcome in my boy,
John 17, the OG.
So, okay.
More.
It was time. I don't think I could fit in a lot here, but I'll send as two messages. Let's start here. One day I invited her to your game time stream. One I'm focused on the most. Okay. All right, GJ3. We're gonna get into not GJ3. Okay, John 17. We're gonna get into that. You finna drop some more to it. But while you drop that question, we're gonna go ahead and get into Prince Daniel's question right here. He said, what does it mean when someone says, don't let other people in your business? My parents told me this, to always be mindful who you let in your marriage, especially family members. You want to know what you need to really be worried about in that situation. You got family, you got friends. Don't let people in your relationship. What does that mean? Don't let them inside your relationship. Don't let them be around. Like, what do you feel like that means to you? Don't let people in your relationship.
Basically, what happens between you and your partner is between you and your partner. Sometimes we get mad and we're angry, and then we go and tell family members, wrong people to tell, and friends, this is what happened. Like, it'd be like me and Chris get an argument. I'm like, oh yeah, Chris did this and this and this and this. So now you guys are gonna be on my side. We're gonna be mad at Chris, and me and Chris now work a relationship out, and y'all still mad at Chris because of what he did. Vice versa, it does the same thing. When people say keep them out your relationship, that is it. What happens between you two and y'all's household is nobody's business but your own.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want nobody in your relationship like that. And if you're getting advice, make sure somebody that you know want both of you guys to stay together.
The
best interest, and you still don't give too much information. You just give the thing. So say me and Chris is arguing about the bills, and I was supposed to pay the bill and I didn't, and now the lights went out, so he's paying the bill, and we're having this argument now, and he said some things that hurt my feelings, and so instead of me going to tell the whole story, I just go, we got in an argument about paying bills, and I was supposed to pay the bills. I didn't. The light went out. He had to pay it, and he was upset. Said some choice words because he was upset. Like, we could have prevented this bill. Now it's higher because I have to pay extra for them to come back out to pay the bills. So, how can we work on that relationship? That's it. I didn't tell you what he said. I didn't say pretty much what I said. I didn't tell you how the argument went and blew up bigger than what it was. I just gave you the generic portion of this conversation. So if you were to tell somebody else, they were like, okay, it's a generic portion of the conversation. There's no he say, she say. It is she didn't pay the bills and he got mad.
Yeah,
and
you sum it all up.
Yeah, and now they're
Don't
trying
get
to fix
into
it out.
all the nitty gritty details because it could be something, some line said, some behavior that you might not even communicate properly, and now everything is so exaggerated.
Yeah, and it's really important because the people that allow everybody into their relationship is the ones that don't make it. And you got to also look at it this way. Family, you don't want to go in business with your family. You definitely don't want to be in a relationship with your family.
Yeah.
And the person that you're marrying did not marry your family. And you did not marry their family. So they don't need to be all up in the business.
Yeah.
And so you need to like make sure that's nipped in the bud with that, like completely. Like, do not allow that. I've been married to Chris 24 years, and I promise you nobody can really tell you about our relationship because it's surface. You see us, and that's what you see. And when we talk about it, we laughing and giggling that it don't even look like it's anything serious anyway. We don't tell anybody about it. When I'm mad at Chris, I know that, and then this and that. I trust my mom and love my mom, but I give her I give her a little bit more detail than what I just showed you to give. But
you still gotta.
I still don't do
sum it up in some way.
And sometimes I don't tell her something because I don't want her
to be getting on you.
Yeah, even though Chris could be wrong, I'm the one that got to do something and fix it, and I don't be want to hear that. So shoot, that's a way to get people not to come to you about things. You know, you have people coming to you about their relationship. Just tell them what they need to do. They'll start coming to you.
Well, Prince Daniel, he goes on to say, I'm learning more about the birds and bees every day. Even though when I was coming up, I had to learn for myself at a young age.
Yeah, I just never, I knew this saying, the birds and the bees, but I never knew the story of the birds and the bees till GJ just broke it down because I had no clue.
Okay, well, Sandra said, yes, I think you're married. Your dating life is your business. It's not all to be talked about with your family or friends, because if you guys are having a problem and you go to outsiders and tell them what's going on, and all that doesn't happen or doesn't open the door for opportunity for the next person. So pretty much, let me reread that. All right, she's saying if you guys are having a problem and go to outsiders and tell them what's going on, and that doesn't open the door for the opportunity for the next person. So we're pretty much saying, Sandra's saying, you go and you telling everybody what's going on, you never know who's lurking and trying to get with so on and so forth. You don't know
who's jealous of a relationship.
Exactly. So you kind of leaving that opportunity.
And you don't know who wants your man or your woman. Because you done made it look so good that they were like, I want that because our show ain't getting it with who I'm with.
That's what I'm saying.
So you want to keep that closure, and you don't understand. You would think, family wouldn't do that.
But
family is the main ones that will tear you up. So it is one of those things you want to like hold down, like, period. I tell people, and I've always said, not saying I'm just the bomb person or anything, but if you need someone to talk to, I'll be there because I want everybody's marriage to work. But I understand if you don't come to me because I understand the logic. But there's people out there, including your family, that want your relationship not to work or want your man and woman. You see it a lot of times. Y'all might be just thinking it's a movie, but sometimes these people got the idea for the movie and, made it bigger. But they will take your man or your woman without any problem whatsoever. So keep your relationship to yourself, because sometimes you can make your relationship seem so good that now that person wants your person. And you don't want that person to want your person, so they don't need to know nothing.
All right. Well, stepping into it more. Stacey said exactly, Nora. And I burn bridges. Don't tell me no foolishness, and then y'all back together. Sandra said,
but that's what relationships is. They say there is a lot of foolishness in there. That's why people should keep their mouth closed, because at the end of the day, you're going to forgive them. And because we don't love your partner the way you love your partner, we ain't that forgiving. You know what I mean? We hold grudges. Like, you don't be calling my friend no B, and then y'all get back together and we like, man, he gonna do me. Like that's terms of breakup. He called you out your name. Keep your mouth closed. That's all I can say.
Sandra said, now the only thing I would say is to talk about your friends and family's business or your relationship if you're seeking advice from your friends or family.
No, you pick one or two people in your life that y'all both trust. That's somebody who will tell you when you're wrong and tell you when your partner's wrong, but tell you how to fix it on your end. Then that's the person you can talk to. Family and friends are not to be trusted. I don't care what nobody say. I've seen it done and no, because family will hold on to anger, and that person will never feel welcome in that household again, or be a part. Period. So no, no, you find somebody that is really want both of y'all to make it last forever. Period.
Mm-hmm.
You can assume family and friends will have your back, but that's not true. I'm not going. I'm not approving that message, Sandra.
Sandra said because if you involve outsiders in a relationship, they could be a single person, or is they're in a relationship with somebody that they're not happy with, and you're all you're doing is opening the door for temptations on both ends. Exactly. You could be probably in your relationship, you could be complaining about something that this other person is really would don't really care about, and they like everything else about your person, and now you over here telling them what they like, what they don't like. All of a sudden, you setting them up to be the perfect man or woman to step in and take your place.
And understand that happens with family and friends more than it does an outsider. You think it's an outsider the most, it is more friends or family that will attack your marriage more than somebody you don't know.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you don't have nobody that you can trust in that end, then you need to go to counseling, and then y'all go there and be careful of the counselors too, because I heard some things about that. So pray about what you talk about. Like best person to talk to is God. Open that Bible and read it.
Mm-hmm. All right, GJ3 saying yes, children and teens, what they said, what they see you do
will learn what you.
Okay, yeah, they will learn what you. Okay, let me reread that. Yes, children and teens will learn what they see you do. So you have to be better example for them too. And did that just sound like an old school game? Yeah, it's true though.
Because old school is good. Yes,
there are recorders and of what you see. Of what they see you do, and so and some who don't pay attention may become like, now where did they get that from? Because it sure wasn't me.
And be you.
So GJ3 says, so make sure that when you're telling them and not what not to do, that they don't see you doing that or seeing what you told them not to do. Pretty much, don't make sure you ain't doing what you saying
not to
don't do. Yeah. Don't like she gave the example. Don't be smoking, telling them not to smoke.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't be drinking and tell them not to drink. Because now they're curious and they're like, oh, when I'm older, now I'm gonna just overdo all of these things.
The only thing I could say you could tell them not to do that you're doing is stuff like if you're married. The reason me and daddy could do this or me and mama could do this is because we're married. Make that a thing that they understand. We're married, and this is why they do it. So when you get married, these are things you can do. These are the wonderful things you can do when you're married. You know what I mean? Because sometimes kids, hey parents, a lot of parents have this happen where kids walk in on the parents doing the thing. You can say this is what we get to do because we're married. Because you're not gonna stop doing that. And you don't know when the kid gonna walk in on that again, so you make sure.
Sandra said, "Okay, I got you, sisters and strawberry. You're right because that makes total sense when it comes to not letting too many people in on what's going on, regardless of what they are." And GJ3 is saying because this may weaken your authority with them. Now too far, with them not now too far for there have some that have once said before today too, what have I done to myself?
Can you read that again? I don't know what you said.
All right, because this may weaken your authority with them. Now too, for there have been some that once said before today too, what have I done to myself?
Okay,
am I now being punished for having a child now too? So to be goodly, rightly responsible parents, guardians, then you also yourself must be responsible too. There's the patience with the long suffering, starting to kick back in there for you right there yet again now too. Parents and guardians today may need a little help, but not may but not many of them are going to the right help.
Exactly.
Mhm. Sandra saying, "Amen, my bro G. We because we are our children's first teachers, and
Mm-hmm.
what they see us do, they think is acceptable behavior. So we must be mindful of what we are showing them."
Exactly.
And she said, if us parents allow to be disrespectful or to be disrespected, or some of the some of the crazy, okay,
Some of the
some
tree is crazy if somebody not to treat us right.
or somebody called out of their name,
Some of us, I gotta get that. Okay, go ahead, finish up.
yeah, or somebody called them out of their name, or be mean to our child, we think that's okay. So pretty much Sandra's saying, if you are allowing things to you yourself or your children to be disrespected, they're gonna think that's okay, and to be talked down to, and you're not setting it straight, they're gonna think that's okay. So you gotta also do that. Sandra said behavior in their future relationships and marriages. What we want to teach our children what a healthy relationship is a healthy marriage is supposed to look like.
So we gotta
You gotta
show
be the
it.
example.
We gotta be a straight example of that as well.
We gotta go ahead and welcome in
Tamika
Tamika Davis.
Davis.
Tamika Davis is
Hey, how
sliding
you
in.
doing, Tamika?
All right, House of A say yes, they do wrong to their kids. They're going into the pool.
Somehow they getting in that pool.
All right.
So what did John say? I thought he said something
So
else.
John, he been rolling out this whole story, so I've just been waiting for him to type everything out.
Oh,
But
okay.
now he's asking us for his opinion, so he's going to go to tell us this story. Okay, so it was a time, I don't think I could fit it a lot in here, so you're gonna sit in two messages. Let's start here. One day I invited her to your game time stream, the one I'm focusing on the most. I won't go into deep personal stuff because one night I wanted to role play with friendly white snake, and unexpectedly the leader of the team showed up in the NTL chat and asked if it was me. This was the start. I was just scared that I replied with no before anyone else. Yeah, so I was as somebody else. I was as someone different, and they also lied and said yes, it was me, and that they said I'd me then. Uh, she then fixed that our word in Discord with some person with difficulties, something like that. Okay, with that team leader, I play Minecraft and Slither with. Also, I mean, White Snake is in the Slither game, so the White Snake is a character in the game. So he was playing to be the White Snake, but he don't usually be the White Snake.
Okay.
So at least she ended up at last she ended up removing me from the Discord server, the Minecraft server, the NTL team codes. The team misses me in codes. I already talked with the con mom, but I like to know what's your take. Yes, this may not be everything to understand, but that's what I all I could put. So he pretty much saying this is all you could put without telling all the personal details.
Okay.
But he went in and he wanted to role play as pretty much somebody else, and he didn't want everybody to know it was him, of course, because he was role playing and playing around.
Yeah.
And so he said no, it was not him. But then pretty much everybody found out, and now they're trying to get him removed from everything.
Oh.
And how do you feel about that?
Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe you should say I was trying to flirt and y'all busted me.
Just be honest. Is what
Like
you're saying.
literally, because sometimes when you have something in your mind and you don't actually speak it out loud, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
But then now when you're looking at everybody's reaction, you be like, oh, maybe I should have thought about that because now I look like a troll. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be a troll. But so you can be like, I was trying to role play. I was trying to. You don't have to go into like
all the extreme details.
Yeah, you could just be like, I was trying to flirt with one person, kind of doing a role play, and I didn't want all y'all to know because I just wanted to be between me and this person.
Yeah.
and y'all busted me, and
Yeah.
now I look like a troll. I do apologize. That's not what I was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, y'all.
So you're
I
saying
won't
just
do
be
role
honest.
play like this again. Unless I already let the person know that that's what I'm doing, is role playing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, you be trying to get your Mac on. I understand. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was nice. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, too, if I'm looking in, like, who is this white snake? Who's all
Yeah,
this?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and is this you, so-and-so? And then you that know. And then, like, now it just looks suspicious and crazy and a little creepy. So I can understand your point of view, and I can understand their point of view. So the best way to resolve it all is just let them know I was trying to flirt with somebody. I'm not giving no details, no name, and I just didn't want everybody to know it was me because I was, you know, I get the role play, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they would understand, you know, because then they'd be like, "Oh, okay, I see." So I just didn't want everybody to know that I was role playing. I didn't want everybody to know that I was trying to,
Get into whatever you was trying to get into.
you know,
Yeah,
I'm trying to Mac over
yeah.
here, and you guys over here busting me, and I didn't want y'all to know. I apologize. I now look at it on your point of view, and I can see how y'all could think I was a little bit.
So just be transparent about
Yeah.
things. Sandra's saying we have to be held accountable for our actions, and we must explain for our children.
Be an example.
We must be an example for a child. I don't know where I said.
I don't know.
God,
You've been just jacking up words today.
we must be an example for our children. I'll be trying to fast pace it because there be so many. Sandra said, I'm still an adult and I'm still learning daily because I know now and realizing now some of the behaviors that were exposed to my children were not okay. But we cannot get mad about our children if they are mimicking us, and that this behavior is what we show them. And they thought it was okay, but as an adult, I have come to the realization that some of my behavior was not okay.
And my thing is, I'm gonna tell you this, Sandra. I appreciate that you know that your behavior is not okay, and what you need to do is not let them know. What I was doing was a wrong behavior to be setting for you guys, and I apologize for that. I wasn't thinking like that, and as a parent, because we don't have a rule book, you know, we don't have a guideline of this, and sometimes we say or do things that we shouldn't do all the time. And it's something that, you know, if you can admit it, then go ahead and admit that's, if you feel that you were wrong in that area, then go ahead and admit that, and let them know too, because it takes strength to be able to admit you're wrong, period. It takes strength. And then for you to go to your kids and let them know, that takes strength as well. So be proud of yourself at this moment, because a lot of people can't do that. So you're doing something that a lot of people can't do. So be proud of yourself in that way, and don't beat yourself up about it. And you're right. And I'm glad you're not beating yourself up about it, because you can't change what you already did. It's done. It's done, and it's already dead. Like,
she even realized that God's opened my eye and showed me that I need to change some of this behavior and make it safer and more productive way to show my children how to act. Because you are the first, when you're a first time parent, you have children, there's no book to raising a child. So we must learn from our choices that we have made and make better choices in the future as parents.
Exactly.
And Steve Gilmore said, absolutely, family will be the first one to get you.
Yeah, they will.
They'll be the first one to get you. GJ3 saying, they're gonna think that it's okay with your relationship, so they're gonna go out and they get into a relationship. If they get in a bad one and they saw you being as though it was okay, then they'll think that the bad one they done got what is okay too.
Exactly.
GJ3 said, children and teens watching you, even if you think that they're not watching you. So be a good example with all things at all times. It is true if you truly want them to be a good example too. All right. John, he said, I'll even reveal the nicknames. What I know. Sidestorm is friends with Alina, who is also in codes. Well, Stay, she said, I don't understand the entire gaming community, but yes, honesty is the best policy, but you violated the terms of being a part of the community. Be okay with them not accepting your apology.
I'm sure you got to be prepared for apologies not being accepted. But I think if people understand, one, that you're young and that you're, you're flirting.
John said, we're waiting for things to cool down, and I hope that he accepts me again. We're going to go ahead and welcome somebody in. She's saying hello. She's always herself welcoming in Always
Tam
Tam.
Tam. How you doing?
We got
Always
always
Tam
Tam
Tam.
Tam. Okay. GJ3 saying, it could be hard for a parent or guardian to admit to their child that they were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And now that it goes into a whole nother level of things now too.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. All right. GJ3 saying happy Wednesday to always Tam Tam. And I feel like we didn't did so much talking on this one question that we haven't got to any other questions.
Well,
we did get to Prince Daniel's question,
Yeah.
and we did get to John 17's question, which is very good. I'm glad that you guys were able to throw in your questions. If you guys do have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. John 17, if you feel like your question wasn't fully answered, if you want to reword something or say it, go ahead and type it in the chat or how you feel about it. But hopefully we got to your question and gave you a good response to that. We just appreciate all the I guess comments, the back and forth with everybody today.
Yeah, it was really good.
We're having a really good, deep conversation. There's a lot of engagement with these conversations. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and the conversation was good.
Very important conversation.
Very. And I think it was a good thing to be able to open our eyes to know how to, maybe help somebody else who might be going through, or helping ourselves if we have young kids to have to take care of, even if we're grandparents, or whoever we are. We have young kids that we know to make sure we leave the door open for communication for the kids to talk to us, because that is very, very, very important.
Yeah, well, John, he says he may probably review everything from that part after the stream ends. Okay, John, that's all good.
The other thing is, John, still be able to let them know that you made a mistake.
Yeah, just be open to letting them know. And like you said, you wait for things to cool down and hopefully you get accepted again. But you also might never get accepted, and that's something that you kind of have to have in your mind too as well. You did something wrong. That's something that we know here. You did step out and do something that was not right, and so there are. And
see, I don't understand the game thing, because I don't understand what was. I mean, I understand from a point of view, but I think once you explain what you were doing and getting that through, I think it would be an open thing.
Because we're not too clear on what exactly you are.
Like, I don't know what the rules are. Like, I don't know if you had to agree to the rules of not doing
terms of service and stuff,
or
they just
did this.
Are
this is what was happened, or they just was like, we've
seen it and it's not okay.
You're trying to be a troll,
You don't
I don't know
we
the
don't
whole
know
concept
the full angle.
So that's what's making it hard for me to understand, because I don't know nothing about the gaming community.
Well, GJ3 is saying children, teens, don't be afraid to ask for the right, proper help. And that goes for parents and guardians too. If they see they need it too. So ask and you shall receive.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Sandra goes on to say, I appreciate this live stream, Sisters and Strawberry and Bro Panda. It definitely helped me, and I felt good being transparent with you guys and my family, and being open, because this is a family, you guys, Sisters and Strawberry and Bro Panda, and I feel comfortable to talk to you guys about my personal stuff, and I thank you for allowing your channel to be a safe space.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate it, and that's what we want it to be, a safe place, and where we can get all of our questions answered, because in relationships it's hard. And relationships is not just between a man and a woman, it's between all types of people. And we want everybody to feel comfortable to be able to answer these questions, to ask the questions, and we honestly, as a family, answered, not just me and Eli answering it. But I love how right now everybody's participating and answering the question, because we do go through, and parenting is one of the hardest things to do, because it's something that we're putting on this child's life for the rest of their life. And we don't know what we do. And the books don't explain. They give you a generic form, but there's so much more than this generic form for parenting. I promise you there is. Oh, Lord, I can promise you there is.
Well, DJ3 goes on to say, patience is a key. Okay, patience is a key. All right. Must for parenting too.
For even parenting too. And he said something else.
What you say?
Can't hear you.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing free about us.
Yes,
Thank you,
GJ3. We
GJ3.
appreciate
We
you so much with
appreciate
that.
it.
And like you said,
Yes.
patience is a key. It's a must for even parenting too.
Yes.
You gotta have the patience. You gotta have the patience.
Yes.
All right, patience is the principle. Wellness with Fugu Mama said, right on. Sandra said, thank you, Bro G, for the super chat.
Yes,
And
thank
Sandra
you.
said, amen, sisters and Strawberry Bro Panda. We got to welcome in somebody who is rocking. It may even be rolling into the section. We got to welcome in our boy, DJ Vince rocking. DJ Vince is in here.
How
What's
you
going
doing,
on,
DJ
DJ
Vince?
Vince?
How's everything going?
You know, he's saying, hey, Queen and Eli,
Yes.
what's good, guys? I have a food challenge for y'all to check it out. Okay, for y'all, check it out. We got to check out the food challenge.
Food challenge.
Okay, DJ Vince, we're going to be over
get
there
our first
rocking
food
and
challenge
rolling.
all the way. You got
We do got to do that challenge too.
Ooh, we got work to do.
We got a whole bunch of challenges we got to get
Don't be
into.
challenging us.
TJ Vince, you done rocked your way in here, and you are absolutely rocking. So we appreciate you for coming through, DJ Vince. Say, ain't nothing free about us. All right, so with that being said, I think I do have a quick question we should get into here.
Oh, okay.
This one is a little bit different. I did have one that's very similar. I'm gonna say that one for next week. But stepping in, this is kind of a light one. But you know, we got Halloween and stuff coming up. Some people they do big things for Halloween. Sometimes they prepare, they start buying the ornaments and or decorations and all that before time. But in this specific case, we have a Halloween costume being in question. All right, so we've got a recently, I wouldn't say recently, they've been together for a good minute, maybe a year or two, and they're a boyfriend and girlfriend, and you know, they don't live together yet, not all that is situated, but you know, the boyfriend right here, he's trying to go crazy this Halloween. He wants to buy this costume. And so I don't know what costume this is. I don't know. None of those details are spoken about, but this costume, I don't know how much money he's put towards it, but he is asking his girlfriend for $1,500 for this Halloween costume.
He asking who?
He's asking his girlfriend for $1,500 to help pay for his Halloween costume.
He asking for what?
He's asking for $1,500 in US dollars for his costume.
He's asking for
He's asking for $1,500 for his costume.
I'm asking this because I want y'all to hear this price amount for a costume for one holiday party. So if y'all hear me, I keep asking the same question because I'm just in about disbelief that we're talking about how much again?
$1,500. You know, he's getting that nice 15 on it. So
yeah, you ain't getting that money from me.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I just want to bring this question because it did seem pretty crazy. GJ3 said $4,000. No, it ain't no 4,000. It's just $1,500.
Don't act like this is no, it ain't 4,000. It's just $1,000.
So he
$500.
No. My whole thing is, even when looking at this question in general, right? As many things as $1,500 could go to for a costume, it does seem a little wasteful, and it seems like if you're going to do something like that and you might be passionate, you got this whole thing, you got this whole vision, I don't think you should be asking nobody but for money for something like this outside of yourself, because I don't just the way I have my life set up, I don't feel like a costume is an essential necessity in your life. Now, asking for money is a rocky road in general. And something that you really don't want to step into. But if you're going to ask for money, the least thing I would ask for is for a costume. You know, maybe help with some bills or something like that. Help you keep afloat. You're going to pay them back, so on and so forth. But you asking for $1,500 for a costume is really silly. And you only go to wear this one time because it's a Halloween costume. You might wear it a couple other times, but it's a Halloween costume you're planning to wear on Halloween for $1,500, and that's what you're asking for. So you're asking for it. So in my mind, I had that you spent some money. So this is like what, a $3,000 costume, possibly more, maybe even a $5,000 costume. So I don't know what costume.
I feel like if you gotta ask somebody for some money for a costume, you don't need a costume. I don't care if the costume costs $1. If you gotta ask somebody for some money, for a costume, a costume, then you don't need the costume and you need to let it go. But you definitely should not be asking your girlfriend for 1 year 5 years, 10 years, 20 years for no $1,500 for no
$1,500.
costume. Period.
Nice cold
Like
US
we
dollars.
just going too far with doing something.
DJ3 said, "Oh, you could keep the costume."
Exactly.
My girlfriend said, "First, why is he asking for her for money? Why is he asking her for money? What's going on with
That's
this?"
what I want to know.
All right, DJ3 said 4,000. Michael Farmer said, even if he was asking for $5, it still took ask for a girl as a
You
girlfriend.
shouldn't be
You shouldn't be
asking. That's
asking
what
your
he's trying to say,
girlfriend.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Stacey said the question didn't go the way I thought it was going to go when he said costume. Oh,
Yeah,
GJ3
no.
said 1,000 for just one costume. No, GJ3, it's
It
not
was-
even 1,000.
No, it was
He's
1,000.
asking her for $1,500, but not only that, he's probably synced a good bit in for himself if he's now asking her for the money. He must not be able to cover the rest, or it's not in his spending
He
change
better
too.
learn how to sew.
So, yeah.
He better go on and buy his channel. And be like, hey, how to make it.
I'll be like, come again, excuse me, what money for what costume? You are tripping. Are you high?
Hell no.
She ain't feeling that. DJ3 said, what is the costume again? I don't know what the costume is, DJ3. We ain't got all these details, but I definitely can say I know that costumes can get that spendy because, these people, they go to conventions, they get these custom built pieces and they do all that. And that's this whole thing, right? And I can respect that because that's something you're passionate about, and you most likely are putting your own money towards, and you're doing whatever you're doing on that. But for you to be asking your girlfriend, you ain't married to this person, nothing like that. This ain't no thing that y'all going in together. This ain't a business relation. This is your girlfriend asking her for $1,500. This is just a little wild here.
He's going too far. You don't even ask your wife. I don't care if you're married. Don't even ask your wife for some money, $1,500 to go out for one costume. If you want this costume, then you should have saved up for it and did it. You spend your money on whatever you want, however you want, as long as you don't need to borrow no money from nobody. Not just for the costume. Like if you be able to buy this costume, you should still be able to pay your rent, your electricity, your car notes, your car insurance, or your water bill, your sewer bill, your shoe bill, your cologne bill, your food for the week. If you spending this money on a costume, all that should be done. So that's something you should have saved up for to do. Because like he's talking about Comic-Con and all that. I understand that. But yet, again, this is money that you take out for this stuff. Don't be coming to your girlfriend, your wife, and all these people for that. No, that's just no. And no.
I feel like it is unnecessary.
For one day use too. One day use. That means next year you want a whole nother costume.
They're like, well, yeah, and that costume, if that would be my forever costume, that'd be the costume I use for the rest of my life for that. You paying for I don't know how many Halloweens. That's my whole life with Halloweens. I ain't even dressing up, but I don't care how old I get, I'll outgrow it. Don't care. I'm still wearing that costume. If you got me
wearing that to the Christmas party too. I'm wearing that outfit going everywhere.
They gonna think I'm just a superhero or whatever the costume is. They think
you
I'm
get
a monster.
Married, I'm wearing that costume. You might as well get married because I'm coming to the wedding in that costume because it was $1,500.
Stacey said I gotta agree. She said whatever you want, you should be able to afford it right there. GJ3 said this must be one of them big fancy all in one things. Then it must be flashy. Probably got some special effects to it. How they say for it too. John 17, is there anything helpful review in chat? No, there isn't. Prince Daniel said, that's insane. All for a costume. This is beyond me. You got to get a better job or not.
This is not going good.
Stay said, I know that cosplay gets expensive, but sheesh. Well, I tell my boyfriend about that designer handbag I've been looking at had my eyes on for years. I'll buy this one. I'll buy his if he buys mine. Bye.
Exactly.
GJ3.
And then my thing is, you gonna wear your handbag way more than one time. That's the problem.
Listen, GJ3 saying, yeah, they got some special stuff, and they don't charge. They don't charge for the extra stuff. Oh my goodness. Stay said, habits and hobbies get expensive, but you got to be able to afford your own vice.
Exactly.
Sandra said, y'all, if y'all saw my 38th crumble cookie premiere in the words of our daughter Jazzy, are you high?
Exactly.
DJ Vince is saying hello to everybody in here.
Hello.
And John said, so it is straight up deleted. Yeah, I don't see it at all. Stacey said, boy, put that.
I like it. And sit down. Exactly.
Now put on the birthday suit.
Yeah, shit, that's free.
Oh, man. Not put on the birthday suit.
Exactly. I'm agreeing because that's just too much money for no one-time use.
I
don't even like wedding gowns for one-time use. Like, and that's you getting married. I'd be looking at that. You spend how much for a wedding gown? And that's me. I know women be like, yes, it's my wedding, yes. But most of the women that wore them the expensive wedding gowns is not married to the person they wore for to this day. That's just too much money. Now we done went to, what is it called?
Just a costume, you know?
A Halloween costume for one time use.
My whole thing is, right, like, I can see how it gets that expensive. But just like Stacey said, if you are getting into these things, you get into your own hobby, your own kind of outlet, this is your creative expression, whatever, right? Make sure that you can afford that.
Exactly.
That's something that you are accepting yourself. So don't put that burden on anybody else. You shouldn't be putting down your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, and let alone your spouse. That's just something that's absolutely wild to be asking for.
And Stacey actually said, boy, put that birthday suit I like and sit down. So it wasn't the birthday suit, like the birthday suit, like we were saying, you know. Just want to clarify that.
Well, with that being said, John said, is the YouTube studio stream site?
Is something going on? Did you put something down that we missed?
Yeah, he's saying we put something down and must delete. YouTube is having a chat problem, John, so that might be what's going on. I don't think they've got that cleared up. Sometimes they kick you out of the chat, or people have been saying their stuff ain't been going through and stuff like that. So I don't know, John. We ain't got the message, though. Whatever you said, we did not definitely get the message.
Yeah.
And we're going to be on here for only a little bit longer. So if you do want to retype it, make sure you do it pretty soon because we are finna hop off pretty soon. But with that costume conversation, it just kind of threw me for a loop a little bit because I'm like, costume. You know, like I could see if you are one of these convention goers and all that, and you might be making a business out of this or something like that. You might be making a potential investment. You know, I help you put pitch in, you start taking pictures with people, and now we making some money back. We got some profit coming.
Yeah.
Even then, that's a big ask, but regardless, we can probably get that figured out. You know, you making some money. This is doing something for me.
Yeah.
For me to be just throwing in the 15 like that, the 1,500 cold hard cash of my hard working money.
Oh, here we go.
You know, just kind of just throws me for a loop. Sandra said, I know you didn't scroll past my breakfast video. Comment, my bro Panda.
You probably did. And Stacey said the birthday suit was fun attended, so I had it right the first time. Sorry. Oops.
Yeah, I don't see your breakfast videos. Comment, Sandra.
No.
No. We don't see it over here, Sandra.
I don't see the reference comment, Sandra.
John 17 said, I may make an entire video explaining the situation better and make it unlisted, but can't put the link. Okay.
Okay, yeah, so we could get it, yeah.
Oh, okay, you want to put the link? Well, if you do put the link, make sure if you do it, you can email us. Our email is loveandlivelife4@gmail.com. You can message us on Instagram. Either way it goes, we will be able to get it like that, John 17. So if you do want to do it that way, our email, it pops up right there, loveandlivelife4@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Loveandlivelife4@gmail.com. But yeah, we didn't see it over here, Sandra.
We didn't see your breakfast video, Sandra.
We don't even see it in the comments to be approved or anything like that. So it didn't pop up.
Wait, no, it was right there. Go back.
No, she just put that right here.
Oh.
She said, no sisters and strawberry and bro panda. I asked if you guys see my breakfast short video I uploaded. No, we ain't seen that. We're going to go check it out, Sandra. We might as well, with this last bit of time, see what you cooked up for breakfast.
And
did you get us some? Yeah, what's going on?
Like, don't just be having food.
You want us to be watching all this breakfast food, but where's ours, Sandra?
Yes.
What's on the menu? Okay, let's pop this up for everybody to see. Oh snap! Well, not everybody's seen this, but we see it. How did it taste, Sandra? How did it taste? And John 17 said, okay, that works. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do it that way. You send us the video. It'll pop up on our email, or you can hit us up on Instagram. But we'll watch it. We'll see what's going on. You explain the whole situation.
And what was that on the plate with the eggs? What meat was that?
All right. Sleazy saying, yeah!
Yeah! Sleazy, have you even tasted the yeast shake yet?
I don't think Sleazy tasted the yeast shake.
I don't think
Sleazy's
she
been
is.
busy.
See, she always traveling.
Mm-hmm.
She got money. I'm just gonna have to say that's my rich friend.
she got.
That's my rich stitch right there because she always traveling.
All right. She said, think, focus. Not every child can raise their own self and still turn out to be successful. All right, for they all need the utmost proper, well-balanced guidance.
That's so true.
Sandra said it was yummy, my bro Panda and sis, my bro sisters and strawberry and bro Panda. She meant to say my sisters and strawberry and bro Panda. Oh man! All right.
Sleazy silly.
Sleazy said she don't want the baby, but I do. You ain't gotta
carry it. I ain't gotta carry it.
All
Sure,
right.
there you go.
Sandra said I made scrambled eggs. There was some turkey spam and toast and pan-seared tortilla.
Okay. I didn't see the tortilla. I saw the toast.
And Sandra said, my sisters on strawberry. Sorry, stupid typo. Now, you all good. We understood what you were saying.
Yeah.
Let's see the tortilla, though.
Oh, that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's Chelsea toast, though.
Yeah,
is the tortilla homemade? It look like it's homemade. You just probably put it on there and good it.
Okay, Sleazy said, just got off, tapping back in with you guys. Appreciate it, Sleazy.
Thank you,
Hope you had a good day
yes,
at work.
Yes. And we're gonna get ready to go.
Yeah, we hopping off right now. So to you, John, make sure you send us that way. We hope that everybody got their message. We did what we were supposed to do. We about to hop off by saying, remember
to love and live
each day
as if it were
your
last.
We'll see y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow for game time.
Yo. L&L. L&L. Woo. 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 Never live so. It's hot. Taste it hot. I'm ready. Never live. Let's go. Never live show. Motivation speakers. Positive affirmation tuning every week. We need a Monday family meeting. Eli always cheating. Relationship advice on Wednesday so you don't go creeping. Thursday game time. Come in and unwind. Friday night shout out time. Creators grind and shine. Pop up at the pop up. Shop up at the shop up. Get your bomb.com seasons for your potluck. Tropical morning for your royalty. Love and live empire bringing all the heat. It's time to turn up. You wanna taste that heat? Woo. Try to taste the heat. Woo. Hot sauce, that sweet heat is banging like this beat. Woo. Chocolate burning, love, mild watermelon. Dynamite's the truth. Have you woo? Favorite nephew, Lenora. She know it's the truth. Chris. Everybody love Chris. Love it yourself.
It's the love and live show. It's the love and live show.
Love and live.
It's the love and live.
We be laughing, having fun.
Get up, please stay. Love and live. Get up, please stay. Love and live.
Love and live each day as if it was your last. This is Love and Live Shot.